Now this is BMW's new X1, but when you look at it first, you think, isn't that the X3? It's that large, it's bigger, it's better, it's more luxurious on the inside. Question is, can it hold on to its crown of being the best-selling luxury SUV in India? Well, that's what we're here today to find out. First up, before we take the magnifying glass to the cabin and give you a detailed review, let's look at the design of the new X1 and see how it measures up. So finally, a long, flat, high bonnet for the X1. Very SUV, and it's got this big cliff here so that you are in no doubt that it's an off-roader. Now, yes, that's BMW's big grille, and well, it isn't too big, it isn't too in your face, and it does go well with the rest of the car. Interesting headlights, especially these double barrel surrounds in LED again, and over here you have a nice air curtain for more efficiency. The tall bonnet looks particularly impressive in profile, and what you can't escape is the sheer size. It's 4.5 meters long and 1.6 meters high, and that's almost as big as the first gen X5. Now, an interesting set of BMW 18-inch wheels. They fill the arches pretty well, but well, you could have had a slightly larger wheel. This is the M package. An interesting aero tweak here to the mirror, probably for wind noise, and this wheelbase is longer to give you more space on the inside. Now, the final detail here, is that a Hofmeister kick? I think it is. So lots of interesting details around the back, a very sculpted look, and up here this spoiler extends out a fair bit. Really nice looking tail lights, they pop out and have a real 3D element. This blacked out section is there to give it a bit of weight and size, and you have an interesting diffuser sort of effect at the bottom. So it's both beautifully sculpted and nice and upright, and it clearly is a BMW too. And wait, what's that? Has BMW finally given up the shark fin antenna, something it pioneered? Well, it looks like it. The new age and electric BMWs have already switched to this, so yeah, it could be. Where the new X1 also aces it is on the inside. There's nothing entry level about this cabin, and it's such a step up from cars like the 2 Series, the difference is easily discernible. Now, first impressions of the X1 on the inside are clearly of a more mature, larger and better equipped car. A car, an SUV from a class above. You can tell BMW have gone to great lengths to get everything right. There's just so few low quality parts here, it simply is a big surprise. What adds a degree of freshness is that the layout of the dash is unconventional. It has an array of vents that stretch the width of the cabin, the conductive charging pad is placed upright, and then what adds overall appeal is that the cabin stands up really well to close examination. It's full of interesting high quality bits. Stuff like this leather on the dash, this leatherette dash, the double stitching, this chrome brushed aluminium look, the way they've built the vents, the way they put them together, the build quality here, this texture on the dash, the mood lighting, of course BMW's famous curved display, now on the X1. It's not as large as on some other more expensive BMWs, but it's still there, it's still very slick and super to use. So where are these low quality bits? Well, plastics lower down like here, the plastic on this dash here, this one doesn't feel too great, and right here on the speaker. But they've even padded the door pad here. Couple of cup holders here, 2 USB-Cs, and a lot of storage under this floating armrest. Now BMW has moved this pillar across from this side to this side for the right-hand drive car, but watch this, when you open the elbow box, it opens the wrong way. But what's beautifully built are the buttons on this. Now earlier BMW had a lot of shiny hard buttons, but these are nicely finished, they're matte. You get this nice chrome roller here. The gear selector is this button and it functions beautifully. It's got a nice tactile feel. engine start is here, and all in all, it's a comfortable armrest cum gear selector pod. Now the steering wheel is nice and chunky. It's the M steering wheel here, and it's beautifully built with these nice brackets and angles. It gives it a very sporty feel. Made of plastic, so not very solid, but these buttons are very nice. They function beautifully, and through this one here you can control the layout of the instrument panel. BMW has avoided using capacitive touch buttons on the steering wheel, and that makes it so much easier to use. Now with its large fonts and slick display, this curved screen really is exactly what you want. Functionality is really impressive. It's quick and slick. You can go straight to Apple CarPlay easily. The home menu is right there on the screen. Now while you don't get cool seats, you do get seat massage for the front passengers. And what's also interesting is that you get a digital key which you can share with up to 4 people. There's also Apple apps within this environment, which is pretty cool. These are all Apple apps from the phone, from the Apple CarPlay. There's no blower control button or switch, and that's a real pain. So you got to go into the climate menu and then adjust the fan speed. And that's really difficult to do on the move. There's no heads-up display on this version, but other features include a panoramic sunroof, auto tailgate with kick function, active sports seats, connected tech, a smart reversing assistant that actually reverses for you, ADAS functions like cruise control with braking, evasion assist, and a Harman Kardon 12-speaker audio system. Where this car really aces it is in the back. There's loads of leg room. You can stick your legs under the front seats. The seat squab is long and support for your thighs is good. The backrest is excellent, and you even have a lot of headroom and this huge panoramic sunroof. In addition, you can recline the backrest. You can take the seat forward and back to adjust and make space for more luggage or more passengers. And you even get a couple of vents here with 2 USBs. Although sitting 3 abreast will be tight, you still will be able to fit, and that's big for a car of this size. Even the boot is large and very usable. 476 liters is what you get, and you can also flip the seats down and get more than 1500 liters of space. The seats split 40-20-40, so they're very variable, and you can adjust them and seat passengers and luggage. And in addition, you also get a spare. It's just a space saver, but if you get a puncture, you get a tire cut, it'll get you by. You also get a parcel tray, these convenient hooks, and an electrically operated tailgate. Alright, so what's the X1 like from behind the wheel? Time to see just how good the X1 is to drive. But what impresses from the get-go is the driving position, which is spot on. The front seats are supportive, one size larger than you expect, and they really set the stage for long and comfortable stints behind the wheel. Now cruising along in the new X1, and you can hear a hint of tire noise. This increases on more coarse surfaces, and while it isn't in your face or extremely loud, listen for it and it's there in the background. Ride quality also isn't pillowy soft. On its 18-inch wheels, the X1 has a bit of stiffness in its suspension. It isn't hard, it isn't really uncomfortable, and though you do feel and sometimes hear the suspension, comfort levels in general are pretty good. That said, cars like the Audi Q3 clearly are more comfortable when it comes to ride quality. Where the earlier X1 diesel got 190 horsepower, this 18D gets just 150. Refinement and smoothness, however, come as a pleasant surprise. What is surprising is how silent this diesel is, especially at low and medium RPM. Take off and it's just burbling down there. It is a bit gravelly, but you can barely hear it for normal driving. And then even when you go past 2000 RPM, it's nice and smooth. Also smooth even at low speeds is the twin clutch gearbox with very few typical pauses or delays in engagement discernible. What also helps this diesel at low and medium speeds is that there's very little turbo lag and it pulls as soon as you tap the throttle. The tug is nice and linear. It pulls harder if you press down a bit more, and that in essence makes this feel effortless and really comfortable to drive. A smaller turbo and shorter gearing help optimize it for medium speeds. And put your foot down harder and it still feels sprightly. Get the X1 up to higher speeds, however, and you do feel that you need a bit more tug, a bit more pulling power. Diesel SUVs in its class like the Mercedes GLA are clearly more responsive, more potent and more entertaining. The GLA 220D is in fact around 1.5 seconds faster to 100. The X1 is nicer in sport though and more responsive. Select Sport through my modes here and acceleration gets a bit more enthusiastic. There's more in the pedal. It revs all the way to the red line, and yes, it does feel like it has sufficient power. What BMW has done is given you a boost mode. It says boost here on the paddle, and all you need to do to release that extra energy and power for a limited amount of time, for 10 seconds, is pull it hard. It won't give you more power if you've already optimized the gearbox and engine settings, so it's more convenience. The X1's driving manners, however, are first rate. Now yes, this is a front-wheel drive SUV and it has its center of mass high up, but it's also a BMW, and that means there's plenty of driving pleasure to be had. It has a really nice balance, it feels connected to the road, and drive it in an enthusiastic manner, and it does give you plenty of returns. Now, the steering isn't really feel-sim, but it is direct and accurate, and that helps this X1 feel pretty agile and fun in the twisties. Now it will roll in corners and it does understeer a bit, but there's a good amount of connect to the front wheels, and agility in general is very good. One thing's for sure, it does feel grown up, mature in the manner in which it handles corners, but it's also playful, fun, and a proper BMW when you push it and enjoy a road like this one. Adding significantly to the driving experience are the brakes. They're really well metered. There's a good amount of feel, a lot of confidence as you get into a corner, and the linearity of the pedal is so good that you can enter corners quicker and faster and not have to worry about bleeding speeds suddenly. BMW's new X1 ticks a lot of must-have boxes. It looks larger and more SUV-like on the outside, the cabin is more spacious, better equipped and more luxuriously appointed, and at Rs 47.9 lakh for this S-Drive 18D M Sport, it's even priced competitively. Yes, more power from the diesel engine would have been nice. There are a couple of features missing and it's only available in front-wheel drive. Still, does the new X1 have what it takes to hold on to its crown of the best-selling luxury SUV in India? Absolutely. This is easily the best X1 yet, and that too by a good margin.